Let me start the recording. So this is 11:14. I had a little mishap. Everybody's here except one guy. Renzo is absent today since last class. Hopefully he'll watch the video at some point. So the agenda for today's class is plotting. This is a new topic, the plotting. Okay, straightforward thing. Basically, we're gonna try a bunch of plotting. Means we're gonna input some data. Okay. Sorry, you're not seeing it. We're gonna input some data in the Octave platform, and then we're gonna do plotting. Okay. So when you're gonna do the plotting, let me give you a little bit. When we're gonna do the plotting, we're gonna be using different options, right? So like how to change the line type, by doing the command, how to change the color of different lines here on the plot itself, how to put multiple plots in the same, multiple figures in the same plot, or multiple line in the same plot, how to do that. We're gonna also learn how to do like subplot. You guys know what is subplot? Subplot means like in one figure, how to put like multiple figures. So like maybe you want like two figures at the top, one figure at the bottom. You might have seen this kind of thing all the time in the book, right? Or in the journal or a published article. Like one figure at the top, one figure at the bottom, or four figures next to each other, right? Or one figure side to side. Those are called subplot. Means in one frame you have multiple plots. Now how like to arrange it, how to control that, we're gonna learn about that. Okay? Subplot is, by the way, is a function. We're gonna learn. We're gonna need the knowledge of matrix, right? The matrix, everybody's feeling comfortable? Any issue with the homework? None? Right? Okay, so I said I don't want you to submit the handwork for this homework, okay? Is that the question?
No, I just have one issue with mine.
The homework?
Yeah.
Okay, at some point after the class.
Yeah, I can tell you.
During the class, if time allows, then we'll talk to the class issue, okay? Other than that, if there is no question, I'm going to start with that. You guys had enough intro? You understand what we're doing? Like the plotting, right? We're going to use the matrices for the data, right? And then we're going to do plots. If you are given like two values like x and y, right? Coordinate, it will going to only give a dot on a plot, right? You need a bunch of data, right? That means you're going to do matrices. Like you're going to divide this data in matrices, right? So that's why the matrix is going to come and play here in big row. If there's no more question, I'm going to start. Obviously, you got to open a new script, right? So that's my new script. And what do you want to do first? Everyone? Yep, title descriptions, your name, your email, all sorts of things. But before I do any of these things, I'd like to save it, okay? So this is week 4, lecture 2. This is ENGS 102, SP Spring 26, right? Okay, so this got saved. Now I'm going to start with what, like the title. So let's start with the title. The size is okay, or you want me to make it a little bigger? Jason is seeing it okay? Perfect. All right, so this is obviously week 4, lecture 2, and we'll be doing plotting. Okay, and then the title descriptions. So we are creating. Yeah, I got hurt on my finger when I was working on there on the door. So the typing speed today would be a little slow. Maybe it's good for some, it's not good for everyone. Okay, creating plots as it's a little bit hurting. Okay, it will gonna get cured soon. So author, your name obviously, right? All right, your email, and after that we'll just simply move to the code itself. And obviously you can do like some of the things to do and the other stuff here, but we won't be doing any of these things. We're going to start with the main code, right? So on the main code you have this CLC, clear, close. Up until today you didn't quite see the function of close all at all, but today you will going to be seeing why you'd like to close all the plot, right? Plot is in a figure, so you'd like to close the figures, right? So you'll be seeing that. And CLC is what, like, is like command window, right? And clear is a workspace, right? Perfect. You are clearing up all those things, okay? So matrices, remember So first matrix that I would like to define is the x, which is a series of values with the interval of 0.1, and you have the initial and final value is 0 to 10, right? You guys remember the colon operator? Did emphasize on big time. Might be very familiar now after doing the homework, right? So you do have what, like the unit, you can assume that is in meter, the x values in a matrix, and these x values created using the colon operator, right? All right, so that's your x. Now you'd like to define a y, and the same thing that you learned in last class. Remember, if your y is a function of x, which is x squared. Now I'm going to put a semicolon, obviously. Now here's the thing. I have my x is in matrix. Can I define y this way? When I have x squared is a power, do I have to do any operator before the power sign? I should put a dot, remember from last class? Because I have a matrix. I can't just square a matrix or do any power on the matrix. The syntax means the grammar, is to put a dot or period before the power sign. Is it clear to everyone? So definitely I'm gonna put a dot here. If you don't put a dot, it will not gonna work. You can try, okay? It won't be giving you any value. So the unit is obviously in meter square in this case, right? And that's your y value, right? Y values. And then you'd like to possibly put some note about the dot thing, right? So as a reminder, you need the dot for element by element operations, okay? Now it's time to deal with the first figure. So there is this function called figure, okay? Figure and then 1. You're going to put this thing in a parenthesis. And then obviously the first plot would be with x and y, right? So you want to use this function. The function is called again plot, and you're going to type x comma y, okay? And you don't have to put any semicolon after this plot because you'd like to display it anyway. So you'd like to put a note here though. So your note here is it could be the first argument in the plot function will be on the horizontal axis. Now this x and y, don't get confused. It could be any variable, right? Or even a numeric value is fine. But it should point out what it is. Just one second. Let me go to the next line because obviously you're not seeing it. All right, on the horizontal. Don't worry, I'll give you some time to catch up just after writing this axis. The second argument, you know what means argument? Anything that you write inside the parenthesis is called argument, okay? You know that, right? Argument. Okay, so the second argument, what does it do? Will be on the vertical line. You guys good? Okay, now I'll obviously stop myself here a little bit, right? And then you wanna run this thing, okay? You'd like to see a plot, which I may do the same, I guess. You should be seeing a plot. Yep, the plot just showed up. A plot just showed up, okay? What is the problem with this plot? This is none, like, it's just giving you the data, whatever the x and y values that you have. But the plot itself does have something missing. What are those things? Units. The units missing, the title missing, all sorts of titles like x, y level titles, the title itself, right? The overall title. Okay, so you gotta put those things. There are different functions for that. You guys are done? Everybody's done with the typing and got the plot? Okay. I was saying there are different functions for that. So like for x level, the function is called x level. Okay, how do you put the level, right? You usually want to put the after the x level, you usually want to put it inside the comma. Okay, inverted comma. Okay, I'll show it to you shortly. Okay, whatever you like to write, like double inverted comma. The same thing goes with like the y level. That's the function again. Okay. Anytime you'd like to write any text, right? They call it string, a character, right? Anytime you'd like to write a character, okay, you'd like to put it inside the comma, okay? And the same thing I was saying like the y level, right? X level, y level, you understand? The x level, I don't know. For this case, you wanna put like x and meter inside the bracket, right, as a unit, and y level you'd like to possibly put like y meter square inside the bracket, right? You'd like to probably display that in the plot, right? So you can see what is x and y. Now you might want to display something on the title as well, right? What is that? You have that plot, right? So the title is another function. Now anytime you write a function name, so far we wrote two functions name, right? One is the figure, another one is the plot, right? Take a look. None of the function does have a capital letter initial. It's all small letter or lowercase, right? So it's true for all the functions. I did emphasize on that, remember, in the second week. So functions always lowercase. Okay, so like plot function, you understand. So x level, y level, everything starts with the lowercase, right? In the title as well as lowercase, okay? So those three things that we'll be writing. Same time, we're gonna be slowly putting like, you know, the type of the line, right? Whether it's a hidden line, like dot, 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 or it's a straight line, right? We'll be putting like the color of the line. Maybe you have multiple plots. Maybe you'd like to do like with the same figure, another plot. So we're gonna use a command. The command is called hold on. Okay. So you gotta understand what is the difference between command and function. Okay. Like CLC is a command, right? Are you putting anything on the parenthesis? No, there is no parenthesis, right? Clear is a command. Close all is a command. You are not putting anything next to it, right? So that means these are commands, okay? In function, usually it does have something next to a parenthesis, right? And function has argument inside the parenthesis. Argument means in this case x and y are argument. Okay? You gotta learn the syntax, okay? The vocabulary that I'm using for the program. These are the way, yeah.
I'm having an issue with generating the
Jablock?
You can continue what you're saying.
Okay, I'll okay. All right. Yeah, it's one way it can be resolved. You saved it, you close it, open it. Yeah, that sometimes it happened with me. I mean, long ago. It's the Octave only. In MATLAB, no issue never. This is a open source free program. So this kind of thing we gotta live with that. Okay. So what I was saying, like, you know, X level, Y level, title, and now the other thing I was saying about the command. No help. Okay. I'm coming. Just 1 second. Okay. Everybody, please pay attention on this thing that I'm saying. Hold on, okay? Hold on is a command, okay? Remember that. What is hold on doing? Hold on doing is like, okay, if you have a plot in a figure, this is x versus y square, right? And now you have another plot, say like x versus y cube. In the same figure, you'd like to plot. So another line, is it clear? The first line is for x versus y square. If you have another one, say like x versus y cube, another line, right? So now that line, you have two options. You can go with another figure 2, the same way, or you can use this command. Remember the command, I emphasize on that, right? Command. The command, you can use this command called hold on, which is you're gonna type hold then space on, and then you're gonna do like another plot function. You can say like plot, okay, in that parenthesis, argument would be x comma y cube. You understand? Now your x comma x cube, right? That could be your y1. First one is the y, second one could be y1. But your x may be the same value. You can get different x and y as well, like, you know, different sets of x and y. That way, you're gonna still have the plot, okay? And there will be different lines or different plots in the same figure. You understand? Okay, everything that I said, you're gonna see it, implement it shortly. But trying to give you overview. What is happening here?
Not sure exactly. So everything is, as far as I can tell, is typed the same way you have it. As far as I can tell. When you go to run it, there was a lot of errors and warnings. It doesn't give me any extra.
Yeah, it happened before. We're teaching this Octave process. Before that, I used to teach MATLAB. MATLAB never had the issue. Octave, I always had the issue. Anytime we had the issue that I told the IT to resolve it by installing it. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, not that much you can do. Did you save it?
Yep, it's all saved in my.
Yeah, I didn't try it.
Yep.
same tree. You can use the same thing.
If they're working on it.
In a different computer, yes.
Okay. We'll just let me see if that.
Yeah, it happened before, just to give you assurance.
If you want, you can.
Try using it. Yeah, there's something happening with this plot function, okay? And it's the program itself. It's the program itself, okay? And as I said, it did happen before. Whenever I track the plot function, it happens the same way. That is good so far? All right, so then X level, Y level, and title, those things, right? And remember the inverted comma, that you got to use single inverted comma. Anytime you'd like to type anything that you'd like to show in X level, Y level, and title, okay? You got to put that thing inside the inverted comma, okay? Hopefully. All right, so let's do that then. So you have this, let me put a title. You don't have to type it, I'm just putting it. What does every proper plot requires? Okay. So then obviously X level, and you'd be typing X level. When you start to type X level, it's gonna give you the options, like is this the one you are trying to type, and then X, and then a space, the unit meter, right? That Y level goes with the same way, inverted comma, and then Y unit meter square, okay, and then the title. Okay, the title, the same thing, inverted comma. Make sure you don't have a space like the way I did with any of the function. So you have this Y versus X plot. So you're going to put a dot here, the versus plot, right? All right, and you're going to put a note here, okay, obviously. The note would be use this inverted sign, right, this thing, around the text, because Octave or MATLAB, right, recognize items between single quote. Okay, so that's the note. So there are these other functions, right? When you're done with that, you may start exploring that, like the grid on, grid off. You know what means grid, right? Maybe you'd like to see what is going on after you did all these things. Now you do have all this X level, Y level, and the title and everything, okay? Maybe I'm gonna put it on the top somewhere, so you can still see what needs to be typed. Let me know when you're done. So as I was saying, like, you know, you wanna change the line style. You can change the font. You can change the line color. you can change the marker, you can combine all of them. So there are so many things you can do, right? And we'll be learning all of them one by one. Can you do one thing? Just send an email with the computer number. The computer number is in front somewhere. So I'm gonna forward it to help desk.
Okay. So
Like the
just
issue, they might have to install this.
send it to you with description of problems.
Yeah, and the description of the problem. Yeah. Is it running for you?
Yeah, it's running now.
Yeah. All right.
I'll send you
Yep. So I'll just simply forward it to IT help desk, or you can CC help desk as well, so I can just follow up with them. Okay, what is going on? Yes.
After it says around on that, there was that saying? The last line.
Oh, is the title? Oh, then the last line is the note. Then use this single quote like this too.
Yeah,
Around. Oh. I did have a typo with there. Okay, so I'm sorry. So you have this around the text. Let me write it. Sorry. Around the text.
Syntax may be adapted because it's quotes for
It's quotes for everything else.
everything else. Is it?
It's like I think Java is quotes. I remember Java and Visual Basic also did quotes.
Quote, single quote. They use the same thing in Java. I never used Java. I used long ago Visual Basic. I learned C actually when I was like you guys.
So you,
Let me try to remember.
You were doing quotes on all your strings.
Yeah, I've even forgotten now what we used to do in C because I've been using MATLAB for 2010. So like around how many years? 16 years now. MATLAB, MATLAB, same thing, right? Yeah, long ago. Anyway, so what else? Grid on, grid off. You know what is grid, right? On the figure itself, are you seeing any grid? Is there any grid? No. So you wanna do some grid? So then simply type grid on. You know the beauty of that thing. Remember what I was saying before. That there are commands like the CSC clear, close all, hold on. The grid on is another command. Okay, this is not the function. Okay, and then okay, you wanna save it and run it and see what happened. Now you do have grid on. Say like you don't wanna live with the grid, right? What you gotta do? What you gotta do? Obviously grid off, right? And then save it and run. See if the grid goes away. The grid goes away, right? Any questions so far? With the grid on, grid off? No?
Is there a way to change the grid increments?
There could be. You can type it. I never tried it. Grid. There must be. If not, then write use a different function. There is something. I'm sure. There are thousands of functions over there already. Okay, so then let's go topic wise, right? Let's see. Like this is your topic number 2. Okay, and let's see. This is your topic number 1, the first one. Say like this is your topic number 2. So you'd like to define is as like other options for plots, right? And then this one of the options that you just explored is called grid. That's say like B, grid. Okay, I'm going a little formal with the lecture, right? All right, what are the other options that you'd like to explore here? Obviously, the line style. If that is your next option, you can say like C is line style. Line style, right? So what means line style? Line style means whether you have a solid line, dotted line, you know, I mean, all sorts of different things that you can do. Line style. You know, in drawing, like, you know, solid line is for what? Solid line is for the object line. Dotted line is for what? like the hatched line is for hidden line. You know that, right? There are different things. I mean, it may vary depending on your drawing itself, but you know, you'd like to plot it. So two options that I'd like to show, which is plot x comma y comma, and there's this something very interesting. Okay, we have done x comma y, right? You didn't have to put a single quote or anything, but since you are trying to do a line style, you gotta put a single quote, right, and put those line like, you know, dotted line like this. This is called dashed line. Okay, and then you can finish the parenthesis and put some note next to it, say dashed line. Okay, and say like you wanna do a plot where you have the dashed line and the dot, dashed line and the dot. Okay, so we're gonna do it next, but we'd like to save it and see if it changes anything. Does it change the line type? Okay, perfect. So like as I'm saying, you want a different type. So like x comma y comma, don't forget the comma, and then you have say like a line then dot. Okay, and then maybe you'd like to explain that. So this is your line with dots in data point locations. Okay, let's see what happens. Now you're seeing a different line type where you have the line and the dot. You see? Next, you would like to change it color, then markers, then combination of everything. Okay, the colors are like usually R goes for red, K goes for black. You know, there are different symbols for different color. We'd be using two different colors. But before I do that, let me give you some time to finish. Let me give you some time so you can finish. Yes.
So my line's not changing.
Did you put like single quote? And did you put a comma after y?
Yeah, after Y.
And then single quote? And then two lines? Nothing is going on?
That's not what it's
This octave, this octave is a little weird. As you've seen, like, we had the first issue today, all through the class we will have issues, different issues. Because it's a free program, open source, it's different. I'm thinking it should be called, simply not get it.
Yeah, that is like.
Good. Problem started from the start.
So wait, what was different between that and that?
It's just do so many things sometimes. I just copy this from right.
Was this any practicality for this?
Yeah. Yes, your computer is good. It's not a ghost. This one is a ghost. Okay, this computer. All right, so it's good so far, right? All right, so the next thing I was saying, like, a few more things that I'll be doing in one setting, okay? First of all, let's do the line style is done, right? Let's do the color. Okay, D, so D, so color. So the colors could be plot, start typing the plot again, and then X comma Y, and then select the red line, right? And you want to put like red line. Okay, and before I do the black, let me save it and run it. See what happened. Do you have a red line now? You want to try the black? So plot. I usually don't mess with the color. You can Google it and find other colors. Okay, these two is on my note from long time, so I just use them. So X comma Y. So select the black is K. I know that. You can Google and find the other color code. Okay, so black line, and then you save it. Let's see if we can get back the black line again. Yep, we did get back the black line again. Any question? It's running though, right, for you? All right, so then I want to do markers. That is so important. Like say like your line have, you had the data points X and Y, right? So say like those data points, you don't like a straight line or anything. Say like you want the dotted points, right? So usually that's something I would like to share with you. Usually you would like to plot the points only when you have experimental data. You know that, right? Experimental data usually like to draw it by plot, draw it by point on the plot. Okay, not a continuous line. You want to draw a continuous line when you have equation that you are plotting. You know that, right? Okay, so like you have a bunch of data points, right? You have X values and Y values. Maybe those values are, I mean, you did do computation for Y. Computation means you get the value by doing the math. Maybe you'd like to show by plot, right? Like a continuous line. But if those data are given like a scattered numerical value, like from experiment, then you'd like to plot it like plotted point, not like a continuous line. Everyone understand? Okay, so you want to do it this way then. So markers. So then plot X comma Y, and then the same thing. Say like you want to go with the O as a symbol, and finish that and see what happens. Do you see what happened? I now have bunch of O's. Now each O represents one data point. I just typed O. You can literally type anything that would be showing there. Okay, and then if I'm gonna type say like plot again X comma Y comma, you gotta put quote, single quote for sure, a plus sign, and then you wanna save it and run it. Let's see what happened. Yeah, a bunch of plus came up, right? So these are for markers. Different markers obviously you can use. Now what if you'd like to combine all of that, like the color, the line type, the marker, okay? What are you going to do? So you want to do a combination, so which is F combinations. What are the combinations I'm talking? Let's say everything that what I've done so far, X comma Y comma, and then you have this two line R. So now you will have a combination of example of combining line attributes to increase the options. Okay, do you see the last thing? I have both red line and the dashed line. Okay, two options came up together. You can do the limits as well, X limit, Y limit. You can do the line width. You know what means line width? How thick is the line? You can do like this X level, Y level detail, means like the font style, like the font font style, font size, font name, all sorts of things that you can do. Okay, we'll see it shortly. You can format the axis as well. Okay, means the axis font size. Sometimes you'd be seeing as if now you see on the figure the x and y values are really small, right? The way it is showing. What if you'd like to, everyone understand what I'm saying? The x and y values are really small, right? If you'd like to increase the font size for those x and y values, the numeric value I'm talking, what to do? So that's something that we're going to learn as well. Okay, so these are the next thing that is coming. Everyone's done with so far what I've done, typed and run properly. Any question? No? Everything's good? Moving on then. All right, perfect. Okay, so we were here. The next thing would be obviously the limit. Before I going on the limit, let me give you something. So what to do, like, you know, in a command window, if you'd like to learn more about the plot or any of the functions that I used, like what to do, right? You simply type in the command window help and that the function name. Okay, it should pop up. So that's what I'm gonna do next. So if you forgot any of these or want to see the other options, you want to type this called help plot. Select the plot that you'd like to explore. Okay, and then you may want to save it right here and then run it again. So if you run, the plot came up here. That's fine and dandy, right? But in the command window, did you see everything about the plot showed up? It was not there before, right? So because you just simply type help plot, that's why everything about the plot showed up here. But nowadays, you know, you can literally get everything from Google as well, right? You may not even have to deal with that. Everything's good? So far, help plot is done. As I was saying, the other things that I'm going to show to you. The first thing that I'm going to show to you now is, first let me first show the figure. See, you have the limits. X and y values, they have a limit, right? Remember, when we define the x, the initial value is 0, final value is 10, right? So the y value is based on 0 to 10, whatever you have x values. What if I would like to only display the x value is from 0 to 5? What if I'd like to have a bigger axis, not x value 0 to 10, x 0 to 20, 0 to 2000, 200, 200, whatever you wish or you need, right? So then the x limit function is going to come in play. That kind of defined what would be the x values you'd like to put it in the display, not necessarily whatever your data is. Your data could be up to 10, but the display could be up to 20. Does it make sense? And this is often very important, needed as well. So this same thing goes with the y limit as well. Okay, so those two functions we're going to learn next. Any question? Okay, so let's do that then. So that's your next point here. That's G. This x lim is the function I'm talking, and y lim. Don't want to put any space. So this will gonna setting the limits on the view. That's what's so important. I'd like to emphasize view window, not necessarily anything with the plot itself. Okay, what you'd like to show for the plot. This is missing something. Okay, and then obviously the thing that you were expecting, the x lim, right? X limit, and here's something very interesting. Obviously it's a function, so you wanna put what, like the parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you gotta put the matrix. You understand? So on the matrix, you would like to define the initial and the final value. Say like you'd like to display only x value from 2 to 10. So then you're gonna type 2 to 10. It's good. Understand the x limit? You're going to see it more when you're going to plot it. And same with the y limit. So y limit, you can put it inside the y limit this way. So like is from 10 to 30. And don't forget to put a space. Okay. Let me explain a little bit more what is the x limit says. So it says use the bracket, right? To create a matrix. That's what you remember, right? Matrix indicating minimum and maximum values. Okay. I'll just quickly do something so you can see while you are working on it. Did you guys see what just happened here? We just changed the limit of x and y, right? From 2 to 10 and 10 to 30. Those are the minimum and maximum values for x and y, right? Obviously, everything will be bigger. And here's the important part. We are not doing anything with the data and anything. It's just like the viewing window. I mean, on the window, what you are viewing, okay? That's what is different, okay? Any questions so far? That's good? The class working for you, you will have the video, right? Yeah. You have the video at the beginning of the class.
I've been getting a lot of it from the example code too. I like that those are posted.
So this code you're selecting, the one I post is?
Yep, when you post it, if I don't understand the code, then I watch the video. But usually I watch the code and do the practice, and then I do the homework.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. All right, guys. Everybody got it so far? Any question with the x limit, y limit? No? Perfect. Moving on. X limit, y limit is done. Now we're gonna do a little bit of the formatting. Still doing the formatting of the figures or plot. Okay. So when I'm dealing with these options, I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna clear everything, close everything. Okay. So let me do that. So first of all, not the clears. I'm sorry. I would like to still keep x and y values. So I'm gonna close all the figures. Okay. If I'm gonna use that, take a look here. I have this figure. What is the title of that? Figure 1, right? So that figure is going to go away right away. Okay. Then I can reuse the figure 1. Does it make sense? So the figure function that I'm going to use, so figure, and inside the parenthesis figure 1 again, right? And then one by one, let me do the plot x comma y. Now you already know what those things are, right? The K is for black color. You can choose red as well. I had red before. Now first thing I would like to use is called line width. Now here's the beauty. Every time you have a new thing you are adding to the plot, new things in this case could be like change the line width, okay? Initially or default it is like 1, say like you want to change it to 2, the thickness I'm talking, right? Initially it is 1, so like you would like to change it to 0.5 thickness, right? So half of the thickness. So then every time you are doing something, what I just explained, you gotta make sure you gotta put a comma, and the comma, and then usually you'd like to do it like a single inverted comma or quote. Inside the quote, you should be writing, say like the line width, if you'd like to change, then you should be writing the line width. Now here is the thing, very important thing. When you're gonna write the line width, you're gonna make sure that L is capital and W is capital. So 2 words, the first letters are capital. You understand? So line width, okay, and then obviously you put a comma, another comma, and put the value of what is the line width that you want, right? Everyone understand? Let me do that. Then you'll understand it more. So by the way, this K is for black. You understand that, right? And you had this comma and then single quote and K, and then comma again for different options, right? Line width that I was saying, and then you would like to type the line width, right? Remember L capital, width capital, right? Line width, and then what? Then comma again. Now you have a numeric value. Anytime you have a numeric value, say like 2, line width is 2. You don't want to put a quote. Quote is only for text. You remember that, right? Anytime you have a variable, you don't want to put a quote. Anytime you have a numeric number, don't want to put a quote. Anytime you have a text, like K is a text, right? In this case, like line width is a text. You want to put a quote, okay? That's also important. And then you want to obviously save it and run it and see what happened really. Okay, now I have a thicker plot, right? Thicker line. So there is this line width is 2. I can explain a little bit more what just happened here. So this is like, we are telling the octave the name of the property, in this case line width, right? We want to change we want to change and then provide the value to change it. All right. So the next one that I would like to do is X level, Y level. Okay. You guys already know what is X level, right? You have done it before. I'm gonna put a little bit more options in the X level. As an example, say like the X level default font type is Arial. I would like to change it to Times New Roman. You guys are familiar with the font type, everybody? No? You know, Times New Roman, Cambria, Arial. There are so many times. I mean, so the X level, right? So X level, and I do have this X level has this X inside the single inverted comma X and then parenthesis meter. I did it before, right? Nothing new. But if I'd like to add some more of the options, right? For X level, say like the font size. You guys were happy with the font size? Maybe not. It was too small, remember? So what do you want to do? Maybe put the font size different than what you were showing. So font size, and here's the beauty. Okay, every time you have like the line width, just like the line width. Every time you have like the font size, font type, or whatever, you want to make sure those two syllable first letter should be capital or uppercase. Okay, so like the font size, font F and S is capital size. So font size. And then what I want to do after the font size, you'd like to specify the font size, obviously, right? The comma. Remember, if you have a numeric value, you don't want to put a single quote. So 12, right? And then maybe you'd like to change the font width. So again, font weight. I'm sorry, font width I said, right? Font weight. Weight means how thick is the font. Like is it bold, italic, or whatever. So say like you'd like to put it as bold, right? Again, here's the thing. You see, the font size I did 12. I didn't put a single quote because it's a number. But the bold is a character, right? It's not a number. So you should put that single inverted comma again. Everybody get it so far? So now say like you'd like to change font name. Don't forget to keep adding the comma after every operation that you did. Say like the font name usually default is Arial, but say like you wanna change it to what? Font name to Times New Roman, okay? And you wanna do this like you wanna type the whole thing Times New Roman as the way it usually written, okay? And then you wanna do the same for the Y level, okay? What I'll be doing next, I'll just simply copy that, okay, just to save time for the Y level, and then moving this thing a little bit and putting the X level thing as Y level. So Y is the meter square, right? Okay, the font size and everything, okay. Then you'd like to save it and run it and see what happened. Do you see what just happened here? You do have this X and Y level in bold with the font size 12 and the font type is Times New Roman. This is very important, this one. The thing that I can say. Now I gotta disclose something. You see, nowadays because of the AI, everything is actually done for you, right? When you do job. But the thing, always code needs to be humanized. You understand that, okay? If you don't know the code inside out, whatever is giving it to you, if you have no idea, chances are you can't keep the job. You know, if you don't know what that you are given to you, right? How are you going to fix it, right? If there is an issue, there are always issues. Okay. Now it may reduce the time, like the amount of time that you usually need to write the code. It may reduce the time. That may require less number of employees, right? But if you're going to get the job, if you're expert enough, you'd be hired with a much higher salary. Does it make sense? Because you're much more experienced. Yep. Yep. Essentially. Since when? Now or before?
I think it was like June, but
What's next? Good answer. What else? After we do our subdivisions. Like that. Then close it. You did work here as well? Yeah, this is not one. Oh, I know what. You're missing something. Sweet. not doing anything here. Is it working for everyone? We're having a little bit issue here with something. You didn't have much of a skill last time.
I had two classes before this week.
My son is tired. He will call and say, can you please tell the office that I have to come? He now can drive. Just that Sunday we shouldn't sleep that much at night.
Yeah, today was not my big day. I had 4 classes. Friday was there too. Well, on Monday I had 3.
So it's working slowly. I don't know whatever it is. Okay. We don't have this. See, this, so it is working, right?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
It does work. The challenge would be like size is done. It's something so weird.
Did it work on yours?
I don't know. Maybe seems like.
Yours says font weight.
Huh?
On the
Oh, font width, right? This is font weight, font weight. That's the problem.
Oh.
Thank you. I didn't. I'm sorry. I don't know why did I should see this thing.
Oh, I thought you said weight.
Yeah, you were right. You were right. I said width, and then immediately I changed it. I said, okay, it's not width, it's weight, and then probably you were typing that time. You didn't quite notice. But yeah, thank you. You at least noticed that.
Yeah, I saw. I just when I looked up there, I saw that. When you just said width, I was like, that says weight.
Yeah, yeah. It's continuing. I'm sorry, guys. I keep everybody waiting. But we had a simple thing like the width and weight. I was talking about the width, and then I changed it to weight. Okay, and that's the reason it took so much. Okay, so so far we are done. Now the next thing that I would like to show you very important. Okay, take a look here on this figure. You see, I can change just one more second. Let me show it to you a little differently. So like I can change it to 18 and 18, right? Save it and run it. Okay. Now take a look here. My x and y levels are this in size compared to the figure itself. Now the values in x and y are so small, tiny, right? So you can change those values in x and y. That's so important. In MATLAB, I never had that issue, but in Octave, it always looks so small. So we'd like to always change that font size, okay? And it does a whole new different command for that. Everybody follow me? What I just said? Okay, so the next thing, obviously, as I'm saying, the formatting. So formatting the axis. So what I meant by that, you're going to use a function called set, okay? And you might want to use this for homework and everywhere. Okay, you may want to copy it and paste it like whenever needed, right? You know, then you'd like to write GCA, okay? Then font size. As I'm saying, you know, make sure you have F and S are in capital or uppercase, right? Then maybe 12, right? And then don't forget, like last time, font weight, right? So that's what you want to choose. And then bold again. And then font name, the same thing, whatever we did so far. Font name. And then you see me not typing everything, because whenever I start typing like font FO with a capital, immediately it gives me the option, is this what you are referring, font name, font size, or font weight? So I just choose that and press enter. That way it's less time needed, okay? Instead of you typing the same thing again, or you can copy paste as well, whatever works for you. And then it's the times. You see, anytime I start typing times new, you gotta make sure the capital, right? Letter Times New Roman, okay, sorry, okay, Times New Roman, okay, and then it'll be done, okay, and then you can save it, right? Obviously, run it and see what just happened here. You see what just happened? Now these are bigger, right? The x and y axis is, this is so important, okay? I'd like to see you implement it all the time, this code. GCA is a command which set the font size, something related with this font in x and y axis, okay? I never quite explored that, but I can do it quickly. So CLC help GCA, and it should give you the everything. Return a handle to the current axis objects, okay? So basically it's just saying the axis, locating the axis and everything, okay? And it has more explanation. Please read through that. So come back to the editor again. Any question? I never dig through that much about GCA. I just use it, but obviously it gives you the options about the axis and everything, okay? Anyway, so then moving on. So to what we're doing next, we are creating some more data. Okay, what are those data I'm talking? Let's deal with some angle, theta. Okay, and then you're defining the theta. Start from 0 with interval of 1 to 360. Now remember, if you have an interval of 1, you don't have to quite type 1. It's a default. You want to put a semicolon, don't want to display it. And you'd like to explain, this is the array of angles, right? From 0 to 360 degrees, right? And then you have this y sine equal sine d theta and then y cos equal cos d theta, right? What we're doing, we're defining two new variables, and we have used this sin d and cos d before, right? Now obviously you understand this x and y theta, or y sin and y cos, both are going to have what? Have a matrix data, right? Because the x is like the theta is like, you know, 360 plus 1, like 361 values. So you're going to have 361 values for the y sin and y cos as well. Everyone understand so far? Any question? It was good. All right, if that's the case, then let me move on. So then we are creating the plot. So create another figure. You have figure 1 already, right? Another figure and plot. So what we'll be doing, let's say figure 2. This is another figure, and you are plotting what, like theta. Now you see you have two different y value, y sin and y cos. I'm gonna do both one by one. Let's start with theta and y sin. Okay, and then you want to save it and plot it and see what happened. You have two different figures are going to show up. So figure 1 and figure 2. So this is your figure 2, this is your figure 1. Figure 1 everybody remember, right? But figure 2 is the new thing, which is in x-axis you have the theta which goes from 0 to 360, and y-axis you have the sine theta or y sine. Now what if you would like to plot the y cos in the same plot means same figure in figure number 2. So there's this function, remember, sorry, there's this command, remember that I kept saying hold on, we're going to use that. So why don't you type hold on, and in the next line you would like to type like plot again, plot theta comma y sin I did before. If y sin I did, then y cos. That's what we're going to do, and see if we're going to get two plot in the same figure, figure number 2. You understand what I said? You have one plot, right? Figure number 2. Figure number 1 was before. So in figure number 2, if you'd like to add another plot, which would be what, like theta versus, sorry, y cos versus theta, right? You did plot y sin versus theta, so y cos versus theta. If you want to do that, you want to use a command called hold on. So you want to type after this hold on, okay? It is space, hold and on, it is space, right? So hold on, and then in the next line you want to type the plot again with theta comma y cos, right? And then run it and see if you are getting two plot in the same figure 2. You're seeing that? Perfect. Okay, so let me do that as well. So I'm saying if you're interested to get two figure, right? So you want to do it this way, like hold on. There's the command you would like to use. Let me explain what is this hold on. So this command keeps whatever is already plotted where in place, so we can add another line to the plot. Okay, you understand? So that's what it is. I was just talking about it. And then plot again, obviously. This time we are doing the plot of theta comma y cos. Okay, and then you wanna do what? Like you wanna run it again. You have figure 1 are gonna come up and figure 2 are gonna come up. Did you see? Now obviously these two figures sin and cos are going to come with the two different colors by default. Okay, you can change them as well. You know how to change the color, line type and everything so far. Any questions so far? Has got it? Everyone's got it, right? Moving on. So now you see on figure 2 you have this two plot. Do you know which one is sin, which one is cos? No. You remember in Excel, you learned Excel, right? You had this legend specify which plot is what, right? Remember legend? So you want to add this function called legend next. Okay, so this legend thing can be done. Let me just move this code a little bit so I have more space. So this add a legend, okay, to our plot. What plot? Figure number 2. Okay, so the legend, okay, is a function itself. So legend. And then argument should be in the legend is sin and cos, right? So again, the legend usually goes by the plot 1, plot 2 that way. Like the first one was like the sin, right? So that's why it's sin comma cos. The second one is the cos, right? And this thing that you're typing inside the single quote could be anything, whatever you wish like, right? I'm just putting sin and cos. Let me add some explanation. So you are adding some same number of arguments. That's so important. If you have two plots, you're going to put two arguments in the legend, okay? Same number of arguments, as we have sets of data, okay? So how do you know what I'm referring by? So this would be referred by number of lines on the plot. Got it? So we can tell the legend where to appear as well on the plot or on the figure, right? We can tell it. How? There is a command which is called location, right? Let's type the same thing, legend again. I mean, basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy that to save some time, and I'm going to add something new, which is the location. Now, before you even do the second legend, the first legend you should be running and see whether you are seeing it or not, okay? But let me finish the typing and I'll explain it. Just I have a way of doing that. Let me type south east, okay, and then let me save it. And I'm gonna do something like the last line that I wrote. I'm gonna make a comment of that, save it, and I'm gonna run this again. So okay, I'd like to show you the figure 2 now. So I do have the sign and cost now, right? But the thing is, it's in northeast, right? Now, what if I'd like this legend in southeast? You know, usually south goes up, south goes down, north goes up, right? East goes right, west goes left. That's how the map is, right? So the location can be changed by using this command, the last line that I did. So what do you want to do? Like, you know, I mean, in my case, it was commented. So I'm gonna save it and run it again. Okay. So now can you see that the legend just goes down? So it's like southeast. Everybody knows east, west, south, north, south in a map, right? So yeah, that's how we're gonna specify the location. And I have the final thing, which is the subplot. Anybody need a break? Yep. Anyway, so the subplot. Remember the subplot? If you have multiple plots in the same figure, see, you have this figure 1 and figure 2, right? What if I would like to put those two figures, both of them, in one figure, right? Instead of figure 1 and 2, you want to do that, right? Maybe. Okay, in a professional manner, if you'd like to display something. So there is this subplot function that you will use. The way the subplot works, you got to understand that first before I really jump into anything. You remember the matrix? Everybody? So matrix is like, you know, 1 1 1 2 2 1 2 2. The position you remember, if you have a 2 by 2 matrix, say like you have a 1 by 3 matrix, 1 1 2 1 3 1, right? You understand the indices that I'm referring to matrix? Like it's a 3 by 1 matrix, right? So the first one is 2 by 2 matrix. So like you have a matrix which is 3 by 3, then 1 1 1 2 1 3 2 1 2 2 2 3 3 1 3 2 3 3, right? You remember all those indices from matrix, right? The subplot works there. So it will gonna locate based on those indices number. Okay? Everybody got it? Let me. I mean, there are some other things as well, like how many plots you want in a subplot. That's what you got to define as well, but I'm gonna explain. All right, the subplot. Okay, so the subplot. Let's deal with the subplots. Let me give you a little bit more about the subplot first. You know, in MATLAB, in Octave it doesn't work. If you have 2% sign, usually it means a different section, because it's a section I'm dealing with subplot, right? If you could have a MATLAB, then you could have seen it also. The same thing we're going to run, by the way. The subplots. Okay, the subplots is like, you know, you're putting multiple. By the way, the homeworks I'm going to upload it, okay? Today for this one, I didn't do it yet, okay, and I'm going to finish the grading as well. So say like you're putting multiple plots on a single figure. Okay, you are not doing a multiple plot on a single figure. How are you going to do that? So first of all, you will gonna stack one plot above the other, okay, and let's try it in a different figure, figure number 3. We have already figure 1 and 2, right? So in figure number 3, you want to do a subplot where you have two plots only, one at the top, one at the bottom, okay? So then how are you going to do that? Let me put some more notes. So say like you need to tell Octave what spaces to create for subplot, and then tell, I'm sorry, I gotta put a percentage sign here. Okay, now it's all good and dandy. And tell what? Tell it what to put in each. Okay. So basically, it's asking, it's saying here how many of the plots that you need and what to put on those plots. Okay. So say like you want to use the subplot function for first time, and you're defining how many of the plot that you have. You have 2, 1, and 1. What does it mean? It means you are defining the spaces for a subplot, okay, and the syntax for subplots is, the syntax for subplot is, you first define the number of rows, right? So 2 row, comma, then you are defining the number of columns, okay, and after the number of rows and columns, then you are defining the position, right? So like you have in this example subplot 2 comma 1 comma 1. What does it mean? How many rows you have? 2 rows. How many columns you have? 1 column, right? And what position you are doing the plot out of this 2 comma 1? Obviously the top one, right? The first position, right? You understand this? Let's see, let's do typing. Do you understand the position thing? No. So you see, like you have like 2 by 1 means like, you know, two plot, the top one and the bottom one, right? So now that's 2 and 1, and then the final one is which one you are writing, top one or the bottom one? Make sense? You understand what I'm saying? 2 plot, 2 comma 1 means 2 row, 1 row, 2 row, right? 1 means 1 column, right? And the third parameter that I have 1, that's for which one you are writing, the top one or the bottom one? 1 means obviously the top one, right? Everybody got it? So that's the subplot thing. Now it's time to actually apply this, whatever we learned so far. Okay, so now tell Octave what to plot on the subplot. Okay, and then use the plot function again, right? And then you want to use the theta, comma, y sign. That's what you want to plot on the top, right? And maybe you want to plot y cos at the bottom. Okay, in that case, what do you want to do? You want to plot that y cos at the bottom, but let me first explain. If we want the labels, title, etc. for this subplot, must do it here before defining the next subplot. Now remember, you had these 2 subplots, right? One is that what I just said. The second one is subplot, the same thing, 2 comma 1 comma 2, right? And then you wanna plot, like, you know, use this theta again, theta comma y, what, like y sign. Okay, and then the next one, you wanna, I don't know, maybe do it, the first one you maybe wanna do it in a red color. Okay, so do two different color. You're gonna run it. You will have three figures, right? So figure 1, figure 2, and figure 3. Is it running for all of you? For some reason my figure 3 is not working. Is it working for you guys? Figure.
I think you missed it's up a little bit. There's a
What did I miss?
subplot. I think you missed
Oh,
it's
no.
up a little bit.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, now it's working. Is it working for all of you guys? Do you see like the third figure 3? I do have these two plots, right? Top and bottom. So it's like a 2 by 1 matrix, right? Location, the first one is the 1, the second one is the 2. Now you can definitely change the axis, title axis, everything, right? Title of every of the plot, legend, everything that you can do here, right? You guys are good? I'm at the final end of the class. Probably 5 more minutes I need, then we'll be done. Okay? Let me know if you're good so far. Everything's good? Any question? Understand? Should I move on? The final thing. We'll be still dealing with the subplot. This time multiple plots, okay? What if we'd like 2 plots on the top, 1 plot at the bottom, something like that? Can I do that? We'll be doing this time, okay? We'll be doing make 1 plot on the top and 2 on the bottom. Okay, so what I understand, what I'm trying to write here. So like you have a new figure number 4. You have already 3 figures, right? And then you have the subplot. This time I won't be explaining that much because I did already. So you have say like 2, 1, 1. Because remember, you had like 1 plot on the top. So we would be assuming as if like you have 2 plots, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom. Is it clear to everyone? Understand that? Because I just need 1 plot at the top. Everyone understand that? So like you have 3 plots, 1 at the top, 2 at the bottom, right? If I need just 1 plot at the top, I'm gonna simply goes by the same thing that I did, right? 2, 1 means like, you know, as if like I have 2 plots and locating the top one, right? 2, 1 is like 2 by 1, like 2 row, 1 column, and locating the top one, right? So you understand so far. All right, so that's the case then. Okay, and then I'm going to use the plot function, right? So the plot is like, you know, just like before, theta, y sign, okay, just like before. Okay, now here's the thing. Now I'd like to do subplot again. Now remember, this 2, 1, 2 will not gonna work this time because I have 2 plots at the bottom. So that's why I'm gonna do 2, 2, 3. So that's what the important thing to understand here. Okay. See if I can do this here. See, if you have first one is like 2, 1, right? Like 2 matrix. And the second one I'm saying I have this, for this one the location is 2, 1, 1. You understand? Everybody please take a look at the board. So this one is 2, 1, 1. You understand that, right? But this one is 2, 2, 3. This one is 2, 2, 4. That's a little tricky to understand. So the second one, which is at the bottom corner, okay, if you're going to look at that corner point only, you are assuming it is actually a 2 by 2 matrix, and you are locating the third quadrant. Does it make sense? But you actually didn't do anything on the first quadrant. You just had one plot on the first quadrant. Does it make sense? And you just have to understand this. Then you're going to understand.
It skips the third block.
It skipped the second one. You still have the third and fourth one, right? The top one just had one block. That's why I'm just sticking with the same principle as like before. 2, 1, 1. Okay? Okay. Let me finish that, what I was saying. So then obviously I'm gonna do this 2, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna type simply the plot again, like the plot, right? Then plot theta, okay, y theta comma y cos, okay, and I'm changing the color to red. You do know already what means red, okay? On that plot, on this one, I'd like to do 2 plots, okay? So that's what would be a little bit more creative. So what I usually do is the hold on command. Remember that? I'll be doing hold on here. So hold on, I have something more. So let's do another plot. So what is that plot? Theta again, right? Comma y sine this time, because I had y cos before, okay? And then I will use this different color with the magenta or something, okay? M. And then what will happen? Just this corner is done, okay? I have now, you see, use the hold on function here. So here, as if like I have a plot where I have these 2 lines, okay, and I use the hold on function. Everyone understand this? On the third quadrant, I use the hold on function. In the fourth quadrant, I'm not going to use anything, okay? In the fourth quadrant, I'm going to use this subplot again, right? Subplot, and then this time I'm going to use 2, 2, 4, right? And I'm going to plotting this theta, something completely different. Theta, comma 10d, and inside the parenthesis I'm going to use that something is completely new. We didn't do it before. So we're doing the operation or the computation inside the plot function. You understand? We could have write another variable and execute it before I putting it here. That could be another option, or you can do it this way as well. And for the third one, I'd like to use a black color. So K is for black color usually. And then I'm going to end this, I'm going to save it, and I'm going to run it. Before I run it, I'm giving some time. It should be running as long as I'm typing everything correctly. You should have the fourth figure where I just said. If you have the fourth figure and understand everything, you can leave it. Where the subplot, the last one is. Oh, you did something wrong. The subplot, yeah, the last line it should be plotted. Before the plot, you should have subplot 2, 2, 4. So it should have subplot here. 2, 2, 4. It's not working because you had the what is the last line? Yeah, you have still the subplot. This one will not. Right. So you will save it. See, change it to K.
I just sent that email to you and.
Yeah, I'll wait for it. Yeah, yours one is good. Show me the rest of it. Oh yeah, I know that. It should be underscore. You have dash. Save it. Okay, guys, I'll see you soon.